Pete,
we're back.
let me tell you, man. Today, it's been cold lately, honestly.
Man.
And at school, this morning, walking to class, I saw 3 separate people wearing these leather jackets.
There you
It
go.
was amazing. I thought to myself, what are the odds? And then I saw West Lacone and Lyford soon after that. So you'll see all the jackets come out when it's cold.
The Lettermans are out. It's still football season, man.
It's still football season. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. Some excellent performances last week. The Sharyland Rattlers took out Harlingen on the road. Edinburg North gets a big win over Harlingen South, and PI keeps it going. So we had 10. We're down to 3. This week, obviously, it always gets harder. But who's to say that we won't come out of there with a win or two?
It's the infamous Valley Week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's not beat around the bush. That's what everybody calls it. That's what it's going to be called until somebody just plows through one of those teams, and it really needs to happen, and I hope it happens soon. But this week it's going to be an uphill climb. There's no other way around it. I guess we could start with Cibolo Steel in North.
Steele's a great team, man. There's no
Justin
doubt about
Stockton
it.
averages 12 yards a carry in that district, like you were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The defense for North has been stellar all year, but they're finally going to get a real matchup, I think. And they've had matchups, don't get me wrong.
But a real matchup.
Exactly.
The thing is,
potential D1 running back.
Yeah, indeed. He's great. He went 75 for a touchdown against Reagan last week on the first snap. They're the best team in the region. There's no doubt about it. I like the Edinburg North defense chances of hanging in there and making good plays. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're going to get run over, up and down the field. The challenge is going to come whether North can keep the ball and make some first downs and carve out some things so that the defense doesn't get worn out.
Exactly.
I really feel like they're a prohibitive underdog, but that defense is good. It really is good. And so did last week against South. That was quite a performance.
They really did show performance, man. They were coming up with interceptions. They were hitting people. Number 55, I told you about that one hit on the sideline. Man, he just laid out that quarterback.
Luis has been one of the most underrated players all year.
He really has. I mean, you don't see his name a lot, but I mean, he's a hard player.
He's a defensive tackle, and what he does is he takes the other team out of doing what it wants to do very quickly, right? So you can't block him, okay? So he'll get in the backfield quick, and he'll just change the play. He'll bring the play to the linebackers and the ends. The guy's a phenomenal player. I really feel like he's had an MVP.
I don't know what the number's at right now, but last I looked, he was at 88 tackles.
Yeah, I mean, and your inside guy is not supposed to have that. He's almost like an end or a linebacker. He's that quick. Him and Fidel on the front line, Fidel Orozco, and then the linebackers are great. They get a lot of plays because they're great players, but they also make a lot of plays because those guys get there fast and they force the ball to go to them.
And then you have Joey Benitez.
Ask him.
Joey
Benitez.
Yeah, no. I mean, averaging a pick a game almost.
He's a magic guy, man. I mean, he just knows, And what I like about him is he's pretty tough. He's a tough guy. He'll come up and hit you. He's not a Deion Sanders type. I mean, he will tackle. He'll get 8 or 10 tackles sometimes. No, Roy Cantu will get a bunch of tackles too. The defense is great. And against Harlingen South, they gave up 2 bombs.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Montemayor was throwing some long-range missiles.
It really was. That wind, it picked up a little bit and it was kind of dying down. It would go in spurts, and
I think he threw both.
Sometimes you have the wind at his back, and that's
what
it helped.
I think those 2 that he threw, they were 63 and 80 yards. I think they went 40 or 50 easily. Yeah. So one of them 55 in the air. I think the 80-yarder went 60 yards in the air. I'm now predicting. He's just got a good arm. Little guy too, but he's strong. Yeah. But other than that, and one run by Jaden Taylor of 46. Other than that, North played a great defensive game against an offense that was averaging 4-something and 40 points. I mean, that was a great offense.
Yeah, no, and in the second half, they really just came out and put the stamp on that game. You know what I mean? There was nothing to do. But that was last week, Greg, unfortunately.
56 rushes, 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if they're going to be able to run exclusively against Steele. I think they're going to have to throw the ball some.
They have to. I don't see them just running the ball. I mean, they'll scheme for that, man. There's no other way.
They'll scheme for it, and there's too much size and speed on that team. So what you've got to do then is find ways to throw safe patterns in which you can advance the ball, or at least, and this is what Sharyland did too, and we'll talk about them in a minute, they seem to come up with makeable third downs. You know what I mean? So did Alice against Edcouch the week before. In other words, you got to get some yardage. When you're facing a 2nd and long, you don't want to try to get all 19 yards on one play unless you really have to.
Yeah.
I think get 10 and 9. You know what I'm saying? So it's that management of the playbook.
I mean, you've got 4 plays. I mean, might as well do it. You know what I mean?
Like Port Lavaca Calhoun, the team that never punts. They almost never punt.
Yeah, that's a good story.
So they're still in it. Flower Bluff got beat. And Alice got killed by Cal Allen. Anyway, maybe we'll get to the Friday. So Edinburg North and Steele, all these games are Friday. The 3 remaining games are Friday.
Edinburg North is on Friday night, and
Cabinets?
Yeah. I think Buccaneer.
Buccaneer. Well,
I'll have to check. They're down the road from one another. So
we get good luck in Corpus for some reason. I mean, Buck Stadium's been good to the Valley over the years. I think that's where Harlingen won that playoff game against LBJ. So anyway, Edinburg North is a big underdog, but you know what? They've set a school record for wins. They've been one of the best teams in the Valley all year. Go up there and play ball, and I like that team's character and calm.
have fun.
Yeah, to
have
be able
fun.
to do that.
You know what I mean? Have fun, and you.
What an experience!
Yeah,
we're on the same field with Steele.
You can win. You can win when you have fun. There's no other way around it. Moving on, I guess we got Sharyland and Madison, another rematch. Isn't that weird how they're both rematches from last year? That's
total
cool.
rematch.
I mean, what else can you ask
If you
for?
look at North's path, all 3 games were rematches. Right? It's amazing. Sharyland, I thought, played a very solid defensive game. Very fast team. Harlingen couldn't run the jet sweep. They couldn't throw downfield that well. They threw a couple of long balls, but they couldn't find those intermediate routes. So the Sharyland defense and its speed is a fine thing, and they were one of the reasons why they won. The other reason was a guy that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks.
Man, Sharyland, man, he is a player, and there's just no way. He put a move on that kid.
On the winning touchdown.
And then just dove into the end zone, hit the pylon with the football.
It was a pretty play. It looks like the kind of thing you see on sports.
As a matter of fact, it was the kind of thing you saw Edelman, I think his name is, from New England, do on Sunday night. He did the exact same play just on the other side of the field. Yeah. It's just amazing the athleticism that kid has. He's
electric, man. He's got a spring in his body. You know what I mean? He's one of the few players I've seen that can turn a game. He can turn the momentum of a game. Mishak could do it with Westico. Bradley with Memorial. The kid sometimes, very few guys. A lot of backs can do it. Quarterbacks. Corey Detmer, when I used to watch him play at Mission, he would take this 10 and 12 step drop. And you're like, where is he going? And they'd run these long crossing routes. And he would go back there and sling that ball 35 yards on the line right between 2 defensive backs. So, I mean, he could get going on a roll. But it's amazing. Landes is the kind of guy, he made a difference all over the field.
Yeah, he really
was
does.
Incredible. It was a two-way.
He was playing Iron Man, for crying out loud. I mean,
he was.
He was in and out of that field like there was no tomorrow.
He cracked 2 of those receivers from Harlingen, man. I mean, he ran halfway across the field, arrived right at the ball, and just, pow, man. I mean, the kid didn't get up. And everybody's like, ooh. And then they went to their knee. I didn't take a knee. I was like, wow, that's pretty good. That's what you want to do in football. This taking a knee thing, I don't understand. Yeah. That's a relative. I call it the post-September 11th heebie-jeebies, right?
I don't know.
Anytime someone goes down, we think that somehow the plague is coming, When we were kids and we would hit somebody, we wouldn't like make fun of them and stuff, but why, anyway, let me not go there because I'm in one of them moods, man. I hate the taking of a knee.
All right, Sharyland's going to have to face Cody Enos, who's been...
He's a big, good quarterback.
He's been stellar all year.
He's real good.
He was 12 or 20 for 200 yards with 2 on the air and 2 on the ground last
week.
He
ran for 100, yeah. He's got 2,500 and about 1,100 rushing. He's a really good high school quarterback.
He is, but it's like we were saying a few weeks ago, we've not known that Sharyland's D is good, but they don't, like I was saying earlier.
The no-name defense.
Exactly.
The no-name defense.
But they have players, and I think they can keep up with them. I really do.
It's going to take 40 points to beat Madison.
Oh, yeah.
Because they will score.
But they can score, and they can score on special teams, too.
So if the defense for Sharyland happens to have a big game and take them down to the 30s, maybe the Rattlers can score a bunch because they've got a great offense. The thing I'm worried about, and I've been worried about it since the game ended, the quarterback situation. I love all 3 of the kids.
I guess
who's it going to be? And
I guess we should have started with that, but because who's going to play?
Right.
You know what I mean?
If Lance Madden can play, that's a good thing for Sharyland. If he cannot, Brandon Garza steps in. He will always go down in my mind as the guy who ushered in, or he won the Harlingen game in that he managed the fourth quarter, or the second half, really. He ran the ball well. He made a couple of throws. He took them on that drive to win the game. So he will always have that in his back pocket. It was a phenomenal performance by the Rattlers. He was part of it. But if he has to start against Madison, it's just not the same. A half is one thing, but he hasn't played quarterback. So that you wouldn't want to ask anyone, no matter how good an athlete they are, to do that because that's just very difficult. And if that's who it is, then let's go forward and do it. But you'd rather have the kid who's taken, has played 4 games,
Exactly,
4.5 games.
Exactly. I mean, you want the guy who's taking the snaps.
Maybe Diego can play.
But the talk is that he has taken snaps of practice. I know games are definitely different, but they have him in the rotation with all those receivers.
And he's a great athlete.
That's the thing with Sharyland. They have all these athletes, and all they do.
Right. The third quarterback ends up being a beast.
I know. You're just like, well, that's what you asked for in a program,
Now here's the thing. I was telling Jake Barry on 956, same thing. In my opinion. They know Landes now. Madison is watching that film going, okay, we're going to put 2 of our best guys and we're going to pop 7 all night long. We're going to stay with them. They have to. There's no way they wouldn't. So that means that someone else has to step up. And I believe it's going to be Christian Martinez because he's a great receiver. He didn't have that great a game against Harlingen. I mean, he blocked well, made some tackles, but I expect him to have a big game against Madison. They can score on them. They give up 25 points a game.
I'm telling you, that then Sharyland can score. It's evident. I don't know what the exact number is, but they always seem to put up.
Well, they got 44 games. They're in the 40s. Now, here's the thing. They ran the screenplay wonderfully against Harlingen. It really caught them in some blitzes and bloop. And then goes Michael Gonzalez, 53 yards down inside the 20. And at the 6-minute mark, they scored and took the lead and won the game, right? So, I mean, against a faster team like Madison, screens are harder because they get there real fast. So they got to be disguised screens. And you know what? Those guys, Sharyland has a very intricate series of plays they can run. I think that you run more difficult plays when you're up against a team of better athletes. If you know you're a better team than the team you play, you can just run base and you'll win. Yeah. Here they're going to pull out some stops. And I don't mean fancy, Statue of Liberty from 1912. I just mean some things that maybe haven't been seen on film.
Yeah, I mean...
Like Landes throwing the ball, for instance.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's my dream, that he throws a touchdown to beat Madison, to Christian. And that would be the game, right?
Well, yeah, that would be a lot of riders' dreams, I'm sure.
Sharyland 12-0 for the 2nd year in a row. Let us mention that. And there's been a lot of talk about, well, now are they now the best program in the Valley over Harlingen? That's a great argument going on social media.
The argument, I mean, it's...
Being twice in a row.
I know, I was about to say, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, you know what I mean? So
Harlingen was 47-6 over 4 years. But that was up to 0-11. Yeah. I always say 0-11 because I'm an idiot. But the last 2 years, who can argue with Sharyland? They're the best 5A team in the Valley.
I would say so, but don't count Harlingen out. I mean, a lot of people were counting them out in that district not to win the district, and they go out and just roll everybody, you know what I mean?
And I will say this is one time and one time only. They could have won and probably should have won that game. Yeah. Sharyland played a solid effort, and it was there to take it when it came down. But Harlingen's going in for the winning touchdown with 6 minutes. Yeah. Or not the winning, I keep saying that, the 10-pointer. Yeah. They're up 3. They're going in with 6 minutes, and bling, they lose the ball on the goal line. You cannot do that and win. Other than that, Harlingen had way more yards.
And you see, that's the defense that's going to need to step up against Madison. There's no other way around it. And I think they will.
Madison, you do. Yeah. Madison can turn the ball over. Yeah. It's the same Madison that we've seen the last several years. They beat PSGA in 05, Weslaco in 07, Harlingen in 2011, and Sharyland last year. Ain't it about time we got even with them? The Mavericks. So. And they beat Weslaco in 91. I was there, second round, and it was 27-7, and it pissed me off because Weslaco had a great team with Sonny Cavazos, the great lefty. He is another guy who can take over a game. Yeah. Occasionally. Freddie Laredo from Edcouch. This is my history moment. But I mean, I'm just thinking about it on the way over. Fred Laredo would turn. He was a big boy with speed, with big legs, but he would turn and disappear, and then boom, there he went, slicing in the secondary. He could take over a game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean... Those are games.
What about PI?
You want to get there?
Just a little. I'm gonna go see Port Isabel.
What do you think, man?
I think they're gonna win. I think they got Lavergne. I was scared about Orange Grove, and they killed them 40-7. It's the best team pound for pound in the Valley. And if you watch those films, because they're available online, man, they're big and they block exceedingly well. They absolutely block well. They'll just load you right in tight, man. They'll get the big tackle, Benavides, and that wingback 31. Gordo Garza is his name. And then they'll bring Aguilera to lead block, and they'll just clear a path, and the backs will run. Now, the Lavergne's not that great. Yeah. And then it's Cuero or Sinton, and neither one is that great. I think they're going to go to the semifinals and lose to Gilmer, who plays Argyle. And Argyle's that North Texas ranching community up near Denton. And, of course, Gilmer's East Texas, and they're scary. Scary athletes. So, anyway, I want to get that PI in because now I'm just getting fired up about it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You should have a good time at that game.
Indeed.
I would know.
Hey, it can't be any colder than it was last week. That was cold.
I hope not, man.
Well, having to shield my camera from the rain is like, but I'm proud of North. They did great, man. They kicked South butt.
It was definitely brutal, man. I was just standing on the sidelines. I wasn't doing anything.
Hell, playing would have probably made you. Some of those kids were sweating, man. Yeah. Some kids are just sweaters. Yeah. And they'll be sitting in the hall sweating.
No matter how.
Yeah, exactly, man. No, I thought without Ansaldua, they ran the ball exceedingly well. It's going to be hard this week, man. And hey, it's going to be hard. So what? Play football and enjoy it. And this is, you always want to be able to play against the best. And maybe some good things will happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
You think Sharyland's going to win, don't you?
I think so.
I get this feeling.
Yeah, I got a feeling. I don't know, man. They're due. Somebody's due, man. I mean,
I'll tell you this: if it was last year's Sharyland team, they would beat them, and if it was 2011's Harlingen, they would beat this Madison team. Yeah. So now the team we have against them is good, but again, if they have the right quarterback situation, and again, it's not a Brandon Garza bash, because I love that kid. He's a great athlete, and he won the game for him. But I'd like to have a kid like Matt.
With a little bit more experience.
That's right.
I mean, and it's tough, man. You stick somebody in there and just go. But some kids can just do it, man.
He's cool. He's lanky, and he'll run the ball. The first time he touched the ball, he went 12 yards.
There you go.
So, I mean, and against that Harlem defense. Anyhow, football has been great this year. It's been a great season. We thought it was going to be an average season. It was great.
It turned out to be a great season, and then you get the game of the year at the very last, hopefully not the very last game of the season for the Valley, but, Anyway, so we're in basketball, and actually district starts today.
Incredible. It's a couple of district games early and then some tournaments, but it's because there's 9 teams, I guess. So anyway, I've seen most of the girls' teams. The boys' teams they get going a little bit later, but so far in the girls, I've seen Sharyland, I've seen Rowe, I've seen Bobcats, I've seen Vela, I've seen North. So I've seen pretty much, haven't seen Memorial.
Out of those, who do you like the best?
You mean bias now? Vela's tough, man.
Who's playing?
Vela girls are tough, man. They got a great defense. They get on you. I mean, they stretch that defense out to the end line, dude, and they take a lot of easy plays. I'm impressed so far. They got a bunch of good players, but the freshman, Jada Muhammad, is going to be a special player. You can tell she's kind of jangling. She's got that electricity, too. She's very athletic. Long. She's probably going to grow a little bit, I think. She can play great defense, and she'll learn to play offense at the varsity level. But they got so much more than that. Daniela Azubel, remember her sister Emily?
Yeah.
Man, Daniela can play. She
go.
can do everything, dude. She'll come down and she can pass like crazy, and she's a good rebounder, a pretty good shooter. I mean, I'll tell you what I like about her. Her presence with the basketball. She sees the court as well as anybody I've seen in a while. In other words, she's not the kind to dribble, and then look for somebody. She's going down the court and she's looking, bang. I mean, she's a good player. They got a lot of rugged kids. I always love Miranda Washington, man. That chick will jump on you and dog you the whole game. She's tough. If you notice, there'll be 3 or 4 scrums during the course of the game where people go down. She's always in it. She's very good. Edinburg North has a good defense as well, though. And from what I saw, they played pace. They got down 9-0, and all of a sudden they just started pressing. Bree Garza, number 10, and Claudia Lopez, a softball kid, number 11. Those guys out front, and they're super fast and quick, man. I mean, and aggressive. But small little girls, but man, they're both pretty put together. No, I like North as a team. They're going to have to find a replacement for Larissa Adiola. Other kids are scoring. Natalie Alanis is scoring. Savannah Garza looks really physically like she worked hard in the offseason. I feel like that team's going to be in it. Bobcats are a little bit challenged right now. They've had some injuries, Sarah Tomez on the sidelines, but I feel like in time that team will come around. That was J.D. Salinas' first year last year. It's a little bit more difficult. No Mitch, no Eileen, no this and that. Bracella Cordial.
Hard losing the player of the year.
I know. Yeah. I see her around now, trying like, oh man. But it's cool. She moved on. She might even play for Pan Am. She's going to have some surgery. Anywho, EHS will play defense. I think that we have really good defenses in town. All the schools I've seen, I'll see Economies tonight to complete the quartet. Are playing really hardcore defense. And the thing is, that leads you to score, right? And especially in girls basketball. If you have a defense that can take turnovers, not only will you get easy buckets, but the other team gets demoralized quicker. I mean, they'll just kind of like, So when you're playing the teams, it's pound on them. So no, I like that group in town. Sharyland's got the big and the small. Maddie Garza is about 5'9", 5'10" from volleyball. She's going to replace the kid they had last year, Salinas. I feel like she's going to be really good. She's got pretty good quickness for a big girl, and I think she's got good hands. I saw her present well in the post and catch the ball. And so if she can then turn and score or get fouled, and I think she's got a decent stroke. And they've got a bunch of new kids at guard that played pretty well, made some big shots down the stretch. I saw them beat somebody in the tournament. And the other chick, of course, Alejandra Ruiz. And I've been a big fan of that gal. She's a senior now. And I see her almost walking the ball up some. In the game I watched, she would bring the ball up some because Coach Whitaker really trusts her in the clutch, man. She's just a sharp, smart kid. Sharyland's going to be good. Great district.
Sharyland, I saw the boys. They were impressive. I mean, get the ball down to that guy because he could
cold,
score.
Man.
Yeah,
he's big.
Get the ball to that guy because he can score.
34 though.
It was a good game. I saw him last week actually. A week ago.
Who did they beat? Memorial.
They beat Memorial. Memorial. They were struggling a little bit, but they hadn't. It's like Cortez would say. They still need to oil the wheel, because they just had their guys come off the football season. So
a lot of them, a couple of really good.
And actually most of their height. You know what I mean?
They're going to be the biggest team in the district. Them and Sharyland.
But I really do think that they're gonna get better. I don't see them not getting better. But who's going to beat Rowe, and it all and
Yeah.
Sharyland gets their shot tonight. You know,
Wow, what a game! I wish I could see that too.
all of Rowe was at the Sharyland Memorial game too.
Yeah.
It was, Tuesday night.
Checking it
They
out.
all checked it out. Yeah.
Well, they beat North over the weekend, you know.
Yeah, and
they beat
a
North
good
pretty
North team
convincingly.
too.
Yeah.
You know, so I see them winning district. You know, my prediction.
Matt Gallen was scoring better this year early on than they did last year. Remember how we were saying,
Yeah.
God, they're in the 30s and 40s? They scored the 50s 4 out of the first 5 games, so I feel like they're going to be improved.
Yeah, so Rowe, I mean, I think they're the team to beat right now.
What about
see
the
what
PSJ
happens.
schools?
I haven't been out to any PSJ yet.
Let me give you the inkling.
We just started there.
Let me give you the inkling. The Bears are not bad.
Got you.
The Bears have 2 really good players. Got this Oscar Castillo kid. He's tough, man. He can score. He'll take it to the goal. He don't care. And Luis Mancias,
Yeah.
who for my money is maybe the best player in the valley. I mean, he is smooth, man. He can shoot the ball. He don't need but an inch. High School Musical is what I call him. He's got the Troy hair. I mean, he does. He's big hair. Good hair.
So yeah, I mean, we're in basketball, I guess.
What about the Western Coast?
We've shifted.
Well, we're sharing, you know, you have to shift. As much as we love football, and this guy's a football fanatic, you know, I just kind of come for the free hot dogs, you know. But
If that.
in our district, or the district
Yeah.
over here, of the Edinburg schools, North has to be considered a favorite because they bring back most of the guys that went way deep. They're a good, you know, experienced team. Bobcats will be challenged a bit. We'll see. Andrew Cantu needs some help. Who's going to step up and help him? Economides will be big and athletic. Brown, Teo, and Abrego, they're big kids. So if they can convert their shots inside and make free throws, they're going to be a contender.
Yeah.
And if they get guard play, because they graduated Danny B. Parientes. Now, Vela, that's the wild card team. They might be good, man. They beat PSGA, at PSGA. Yeah, so that's a good lick for them. They're deep, man. They got a lot of kids, and they got a lot of long kids, and they got some new guys. Keep an eye on Ryan Goddess, is this guy's name, a freshman, spindly-looking kid, but he's got a lot of court presence. He can play. And my boy Jimmy Cisneros at 24 the other night. When he gets going, that left, he can play, man. He really can shoot the ball, and he's a streak shooter. And when he starts feeling it, you can hear him saying to himself, "All right, give me that ball, give me that ball." I like Jimmy, man.
That's good, man. We'll see what happens. It's just the beginning. But I can't believe district started.
Well, it's a district game. I know. A district game and then a couple of tournaments.
Yeah,
And
tournament
then we'll
should be
pick
good.
up at the 1st of January, you know, right when the year turns, we really get into basketball. But hey, man, let's see what we got. I think it's going to be competitive. I don't see, if there's one team that's better than everybody else in Edinburg, it's probably the North Boys.
Yeah.
But right now, man, I cannot tell you which of those other teams will join them, you know, because I think most of them have a chance.
We'll see what happens.
Anything else going on, man?
I think we're good.
The Texans lost again to the Jaguars, and we're just not going to talk about it. It's too bad. It's just too bad.
Yeah, that team needs a lot of help, and it starts with the general manager.
Yeah, that's what you think. Okay, well, that could be it. They just need to push the reset button, get everybody back next year, and play. Yeah. I'm worried about Foster, though.
I don't know if he can come back, and also I don't know. I think Cushing's done.
Done?
I mean, he just gets hurt every year. The last few years, he's been hurt. I mean,
Yeah, but boy, when he's healthy, he's a good player.
We'll see what happens.
Too bad for them. And Dallas actually probably going to make the playoffs in the sorriest division in the NFL. That's funny.
Well, I mean, the AFC South's pretty sorry, too. So.
This is true. You know why Dallas won? Because they run.
Yeah.
Murray had 86. When they run the ball, they're better. If Romo has 300-something yards, that's not a good sign. He needs to have about 250.
Yeah.
Or he needs to only have to have about 250. Anyway, you guys are bored with the NFL. I hope you're not bored with college football. The Aggies went and got whooped by LSU. I'm depressed over that.
They can't stop anybody, man.
Nah, man, worst defense ever. Man. It reminds me of 4 or 5 years ago. They would score 40 and lose 45-40 in the fourth quarter. Or that one year where they had all those leads.
At
They
least they're
lost.
still in the national spotlight. Oh,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. The other Texas team just gets in the national spotlight for who's going to get fired or who's
Good
coming in.
gracious. Mac Brown is a roller coaster. He was down, then he was up.
And now he's
And
just
now
down
he's
again.
there's no way. Grandma Mac, he gonna have to get out, man.
Yeah, man.
I think.
So it's Okie State's. I mean,
They're tough, man.
Yeah, they're
and
in
they
the
beat
driver's
Baylor.
seat.
And I hope nobody out there really likes Baylor because I would have to say that I was pretty happy that Oklahoma State did that. What the heck? Anyway, so high school basketball, crank it up.
Yeah.
The playoffs, the last games are to come, maybe not.
I hope not.
Yeah, me too, man. We got to tell those guys, oh yeah, Valley Week, we'll have some of this. You know what I mean?
Especially those San Antonio people.
I know. I think they're so cool, man. Whatever.
Anyway,
it's a battle. It's a rivalry.
Yeah, it
man.
is, man. I mean, that's what it is. They're the bigger brother who's always picked on us.
And so let's stand up for ourselves and bare knuckle it.
Yeah.
Talking Sports, Greg Selber, Pete Pettis, keep those cards and letters. We will, I hope so. Keep those cards and letters coming. It'll be warm next time. We'll be wearing tank tops.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, indeed.